Welcome to a recap video. We'll be focusing on Alireza Firouzja's tournament. So this is the first day of Grand Chess Tour Croatia, and this is the first game he played. They start off with normal stuffs. Queen's Gambit accepted. Prague went for Bishop B4, which is more like a Nimzo Indian variation. Firouzja blocked with the knight, and then Prague takes on D4. This is all theory. And Prague creates a weakness of a pawn on C3 because it's just on its own. And attacks the knight. Firouzja drop back, attacking the pawn. The rooks come in, attacking the queen. And just slide, create a barrier with the bishop, but on nothing. Prague attacks the bishop. The bishop takes the knight. The queen recaptures. The clock is still equal, and we're 50 move in the game. Then Firouzja first, slight inaccuracy, pushing the f-pawn, attacking the knight. The knight continues journey forward. The queen comes in, attacking the knight and defending itself. And the queen takes the pawn that I said it was a weakness earlier. And then now the bishop takes the knight. The rooks recapture. The queen capture back a pawn. So now the pawn count is equal. But the Ivaba still favours Prague. The queen's attacked it. And then the queen is trade. Rook recapture. And now look at the clock. Firouzja is down to 7 minutes. But he came in as the Blitz champion in it. He should be good in the low time situations. Offering a rook trade. The rooks go and attack another pawn. The pawn pushes, which is a mistake. Why? Bishop e6 attacking the knight with 2 pieces. So when a pawn recaptures, the rook will swing in and take the pawn. So Firouzja tried to defend, but apparently that's not the right way. Because such a takes, you get double pawns on the FR with the advantage on the both on the clock and on the board. Prague played a mistake, which basically thrown away all his advantage. What he needed to do was play A5 and start a pawn push on this side of the board. Not what he tried to do, moving the rook away, which cost him the tempo. Let's go back to position. Afterward, Prague played. Firouzja played a great move, the only move in the position that draws. And then Prague started pushing the pawns on the side. But look at the clock. Prague would have used 4 minutes of his extra time. Now he just had 4 minutes extra. And then Firouzja played another crucial move. Putting the king in the centre. That's what you always do when you're in an endgame. Continuing the push. But now look at the evil bar. It already swung on white's favour now. The pawns drop on A5, but the rook come and collect the a-pawn. Now they have a passer. What Prague will try to do here is continue to push the pawn. Attacks the bishop. Push the pawn. That's a poison pawn. Don't take. Because if you take, then knight E7 will be a fork. And the bishop will drop. Of course he didn't miss that. Moves the bishop. Drops the H2 pawn. Check. Targets the pawn. Attacking the rook. The rook gives a check. And the pawn start pushing. It's just going to march down the board. But Firouzja, he tries to do the same. He can produce a pass pawn off his own as well. Take, push. King blocks, and then he takes. Now that's 1 square from queening. But then king H7 defends the promotion square. White cannot help. The knight is still quite far to the pawn. Now he pushes. Prague pushes. 2 squares from promotion. This is 1 square from promotion. The knight's going to join in and help at any moment. King goes to. Great move from Prague. That was the only move in the position, because it allows the bishop to come back. Bishop guarding the square as well. Knight f5. All the pieces are coordinating that direction. Bishop blocks, and then Firouzja takes the pawn, but see the double question mark? That's a blunder. A bad one as well. What Prague needed to play was b2, because after b2, rook b7, b2, rook b7 does not work because of rook b3, which defended by the bishop. And neither does. Computers suggest rook d6, which just promotes a threat, because if you queen, there will be a mate. So you can't queen at that point. You need to defend yourself. And after this, defended by the bishop, takes, and then no matter what you play, the queen will come, and Prague would have won the game. But I said would, that meant clearly that's not what happened. Prague gave a check, and Firouzja played the best move, the only move that draws the position. King marches up the board to try to give pressure and take the knight. The rooks give a check, the king draws back and takes the pawn. Now, technically Firouzja is a pawn up, but it's still a draw because nobody can make any progress. b2 push. Rook b6, only move. Prague sacks the rook, makes a queen, it takes, and then the bishop comes here. A skewer. And this right now, it's a forced draw, because the king is enough, he can defend both pawns, and Prague cannot win because he only has a bishop. And that's what happened. They agreed to a draw. Second game of Firouzja today, against another Indian grandmaster, this time Gukesh, the world champion. Gukesh starts off with Reti, knight f3, knight f6, and then a king Indian attack and a king Indian defense. But Gukesh transited to half English, like Catalan style. Then pawn d4, and it recaptures. Rook. All of these have been played before. The e-file, but doesn't like the move. It felt like the putting on the side cost black a tempo, and that's what happened. No, that wasn't what happened. What was supposed to happen was g4, a more aggressive move. But probably Prague was scared of the attacking of h4. Queen can come in, or other moves. He played a defensive move, but he still completely winning. Firouzja continued defending pieces. Now he plays it, the g4. Drop back. Another great move from Gukesh. Continuing. Firouzja finding f5, trying to attack on the side. Another mistake. Bishop d7, a miss. What Firouzja should have played was hx g4. c6, these are the computer ones, but he didn't. And now Gukesh has some bad position again. Knight drops back, attacking the bishop. The bishop drops back. And then now hg4, but this is not the best time. The knight reroutes. The rooks come in the middle. a6, maybe trying to play that, or pushes c4, not the best move. Another miss from Firouzja. Takes. Now trades. Knight's recapture. And now he's just down a full pawn. Knight blocks the rook's attack on the queen. And there's no pawn that can capitulate the pin. Knights come in. Another mistake from Gukesh. Firouzja's queen infiltrated, but then attacked by the rook. Takes a pawn. The knights come back in attacking it. The rooks. The queen moved and the rook attack it again. The queen go back. Now pawn e4. The queen unpaused. Knight d5, a mistake. Which Gukesh, of course, finds the best move. Rook, another mistake. Now bishop f1, a great move. Now the queen is trapped and Firouzja's down and exchange. Not only an exchange and the pawn. Oh, did he get the exchange back? No. Because the rook was attacked as well at the same time. So it will just be a trade of rooks. Rook d1. Now Gukesh has a winning advantage. Firouzja trying to keep all the pieces on the board. Now look at that, the 2 towers on his home rank. Check. Blocks with the bishop. And now supporting the knight. The king moves out of the pin. The rooks attack the pawn. The bishop defends. The pawn attacks. Rooks give a check. The king slides over. Rook give another check. The king goes there. And the bishop take the pawn. The bishop attacks the rook. The rook retreats. Now, the time is equal and both of them is in a time scramble. Firouzja using the fact that he's a bullish hand here. Trying to see can he find some counterplay that Gukesh possibly missed. Now rook takes. The rook give a check. The kings go back. And now bishop c6. Threatening this. And that. And possibly a mate. Incoming. Rook give check. Kings drop back. Check. Check. Okay. Gukesh is not interested in perpetual, of course. Marches the king up the board. Now and then check, 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 check. The king will try to hide behind his pieces. And then the rook will run off checks. And at that point, Gukesh will be completely winning. Check. He goes to the a file. Freeing up a square for the king. Bishop e4 check coming in. King side steps. And then look at the bar. It's mate in 7. For those who don't understand, mate in 7 is forced. You cannot defend yourself no matter what. Now, of course, the best move, the fastest mate, that there's a check, king move, and Firouzja resigned. Third game, also the last game of the day, against Fabiano Caruana from USA. Start off the king pawn opening Italian game. All of these have been played thousands of times, but yeah, a4. Potential threat, maybe, especially blocking the attacking the bishop, and probably signals a pawn push later on in the game, maybe. Both sides playing extremely solid. Trade of bishops, and then pawn push, another pawn push, another pawn push. Wow. Attacking the knight retreats. The knight's hop forward, another one. Takes. Attacking the rook. Discontinuing the defending of the bishop, although it doesn't really need defending. The rook defend the bishop. Now the queens take a pawn. The queen drop back. They also discover attack on the queen from the rook, so the queen hides. The knight comes back attacking the rook drops back. Now he takes the pawn. The pawn came back to equal. offering a trade of queens. Firouzja accepts it. And now with only pieces on the board, Firouzja gambited the pawn to try to. The idea was probably a fork here. Just go there. The rooks seize each other. Now pawn takes. Check. The king comes out. The knight shoves back taking a pawn. Now everything counts equal. It's just the clock. Firouzja's down at the clock again by 6 minutes. The rooks attacks the knight, get traded off. And then bishop offer trade, the rook defend. It's completely equal. The only thing that's not in balance is the pawn on b file, which results in a 3-on-2 on the other side. While there could be a potential passer, there's a lot of pieces still on the board. Fabiano start marching the pawn down now. Knight shoves back, trade off. Rook coming off to the a file, trying to get traded off. The bishop offer a trade, accepted. Now there's two different passer on the board, with two pawns on each side, on the inside. Rook, the knights go. We check. King marches up, drop back. Knights get traded off. And now this rook endgame, both of them probably have played thousands of time. So they knew this was the only move that is loose, but yeah, he probably played this position thousands of time. Both of them know what they're supposed to do. Trades. After a couple of moves, they agreed to a 3-peat, I think it was, and then a draw.